What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Not So Subtle, episode 40.
Let's go.
This podcast is brought to you by Olive Garden. When you're there, you're family.
Let's go.
And we were just there, and we were just family.
That's right.
And we're still family.
And now we're no longer family.
We once were. Guys, this is Not So Subtle, where we talk about video games, pop culture, movies, all kinds of fun stuff. I'm Dane LaPointe. I'm joined by my two best buds, Colter Potter.
Hey, what's up, man?
And Jorsmans Millsmans.
What up?
So,
that's my new thing.
How's everyone doing today?
Great.
I'm pretty good, man.
Pretty good. Scale 1 to 10.
I'm probably about an I refuse.
Okay, that's pretty good. Guys, it's another great day here in where we live.
Nice. Good recovery.
We're gonna
Beautiful weather here
and beep.
Beautiful weather in undisclosed location in the United States.
Kermit.
That's right.
In North America.
Here we are on planet Earth.
That's right. Here we go on planet Earth. It's looking real nice where we are on this planet. Could be anywhere. Guys, boy, we have a jam-packed episode for you today. Colter, you got an update for us from Paris.
Guys, you aren't tired of hearing about my Paris trip.
Look, it's Paris month.
Neither are these guys. It's Paris month. I'm Not So Subtle.
That's right.
Welcome.
How do you say Not So Subtle in Paris?
You caught me at a bad time.
That's right.
I had it on my phone a moment ago.
I thought you were ready. So Colter has an update for Paris.
Mm-hmm.
You also saw A Quiet Place.
That's right.
Jordan, you
Yes.
saw Shape of Water.
I did.
And we all saw Following, Chris Nolan's first movie.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan. His friends call
Christopher
him
Craven.
His friends call him Chris.
Westopher Craven.
And then we also have some video games to talk about as per usual. Of course, Following is our latest in the Wacky Film Adventures, where if you haven't listened to this podcast before, we pull out one random movie from a wacky list of, could be anything really. And we watch it and we talk about it. And I guess it's a couple weeks ago now, we pulled Following, and we will be pulling another one at the end of this episode, so stay tuned.
Let's go.
Colter, tell us about your Paris adventure.
Guys,
I'm dying to hear it.
I left out one key point from my Paris adventure that I neglected to bring up, and this is something that greatly affects us. This is something that you guys are going to be like, wow, I can't believe you didn't bring that up.
Am I going to be upset at you?
Listen, that's left.
Is this a build-up to something that's completely inconsequential?
Maybe. Out with it then, Colter.
Say
all
it.
right, cool.
We're family.
So we're family. You can tell me anything.
One heart, one family, all right?
So we were walking through the streets of Paris, just chilling, having a lot of fun without Dane.
Paris proper.
And then we happened upon a board game establishment, such as an Uncle's. Or a
in the vein
Wizards of the Coast.
Right.
If you will.
That's right.
In the vein of. It wasn't either of those.
It wasn't.
Okay.
That would be nuts.
That'd be
if
crazy.
You just went to Uncle's.
If it said uncles, but like in French,
Yeah.
whatever uncle is in French.
Yeah.
Uncle.
Dad's beard.
Dad's beard.
And so we just so happened to see a little flyer in the Windy, and it was for a convention. I was like, wait, hold on. What is this convention? What's happening? And then so I look at it, and it's like Play Paris, like a video game expo, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, okay, well, what could this possibly be? And then I see up in the corner, it says powered by PAX. And then I realize, hold on, PAX has been like sponsoring conventions overseas and like helping pay for like conventions similar to PAX in other countries. So I look at the dates, I'm like, okay, it's either way before or way after. It was the 2 days that we were there. It was the next 2 days. It was that day that we saw it, and then the next day after. What are the chances of that, first of all?
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Did you consider going?
Yeah, no, we absolutely did consider we went on the second day.
Did you actually go?
Yes.
Oh.
Wait, what? Why didn't you not mention this?
Yeah, I'm upset.
Wait, I'm actually like I thought
wow,
you were
it's
building.
Almost as if I built this up.
Well, no, but I thought you were building it up
such.
to something where it was going to be like, guys,
I ate escargot.
like something ridiculous, like not something that I'd actually be
Yeah.
angry about, but I'm tilted right now.
I'm tilted.
I'm mad tilted.
Yeah, so no, the thing about this one is that it wasn't like a huge expo like PAX is. It wasn't even close.
I didn't expect it to be, but
Yeah, it was basically like I'm trying to think of a similar sized venue in Seattle. I mean, it was just maybe
how many people were there?
I
Like
mean
consumers, or like
maybe
civilians?
like a couple hundred, maybe more than that.
Okay.
I don't know, but yeah, there was like a show floor that was the size of maybe like, man, it's hard to like maybe a bowling alley. You know, like the lanes of bowling alley. It was kind of like that size, like bigger than maybe like the show box or something like that.
Yeah.
But like not huge.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the huge expo hall. So yeah, there was a big, you know, a relatively large expo hall of like, you know, random stuff. And they did have Nintendo and PlayStation, but they didn't have like, you know, huge lines or like people like telling you what you're gonna play and like signs for new games and stuff. You literally walk up and there's game stations with PlayStations and like Nintendo Switches, and you just play. There's no lines for anything.
Were they like new games or were they
That's
old
the real
games?
question, isn't it? Now, for PlayStation, they had God of War, which had just came out.
Okay, yeah.
Not a new game.
Yeah.
They had some stations where you could play like so many different games, like a ton of different games.
Yeah.
Of course, me and my friend Kermit played Knack 2.
Oh, a strong choice.
A strong choice.
Of all the games.
It's a co-op game.
Listen, it wasn't my choice. So yeah, and they did have Detroit Become Human.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
Has that game not come out yet?
It has not, but I think around that same time there was a free demo that launched on PSN, and it may or
Probably
may not have been that same demo.
May very well have been.
Yeah, it was. I think it may have even been limited time, so it could have been like around. I don't know. I have no idea.
And then on Switch, I don't think they had anything new. I didn't look that hard, but they had like Splatoon 2, so
Yeah.
obviously not new. It might have been like some, you know, new sort of expansion or whatever. I have no clue what's happening in the world of Splatoon. I truly don't care. But yeah, we were kind of like walking around that area, like trying not to like, because there's so few people, we were trying not to make like personal connections because we didn't want the awkwardness of like having to explain that we don't speak English.
I mean French.
That's right. I don't speak English. Did I say his name?
No.
Okay.
I think you said Kermit. I don't know.
You said Kermit. Yeah.
Okay.
All the names sound like Kermit to me.
Anyways,
so.
yeah. So yeah, we were walking around. They had some kind of interesting stuff. They had like a pop. One of the booths that sold like collectibles or whatever had a little glass display case of pops, and they were all chases, but none of them had prices on them, and we didn't want to like ask, like, how much are these?
I probably. Well, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have been really curious to see like.
Yeah, I would have been, or I was quite curious, but I probably still wouldn't have bought any because it would have been hard to like get it back in mint condition as I would have wanted.
That's true. That's true.
Hard to sneak those through customs.
They'll take out your pops and say, "Excuse me, sir, this is too lit to pass."
Like, this is lit.
Excuse me, sir. Is this the retailer exclusive?
That's right. Is this the one of a kind chase? Is this the social media Freddy Funko, which there's only less than 100 of? Okay.
They literally just take it out. Like,
Nerd
we're
corner.
gonna need to have this.
Yeah. Sorry, man. It was lost in transit.
Sorry, bro.
So yeah, we went to the little food. They had some food trucks.
Okay.
Nice.
And one of them was like a grilled cheese truck. So we got some of that, and they did have their signature arugula and weird sauce, even on the grilled cheese.
As usual.
Of course. So yeah, that was not my favorite thing ever, but it was fine. And yeah, they had a huge, not a huge, but like a big old area where they were like a band was playing music, and then right after that was like the League of Legends tournament or whatever, and it was like seating,
Of course.
like bleacher seating, kind of like high school or something like that.
To watch League of Legends.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Something pretty cool was that they had like a ton of arcade games that were probably like Japanese arcade games, because they're like way more. They were like, first of all, I didn't recognize most of them, and then they were like way like differently designed than like the classic arcade cabinets.
Like modern machines, like, do you know, or could you tell?
The games didn't look that modern.
Okay.
So probably like older. We played one game that was where it's like tank style combat, but you run around and it's like basically like Quake or something where you're just trying to like kill each other, frag each other.
Let's go.
So that was kind of cool. And then they had like a lower auditorium also that had other tournaments. There was a Street Fighter 5 tournament going on while we were there, and they were like screaming. Like people were freaking out.
Into it.
Yeah. The crowd was like...
Street Fighter gets lit, dude.
The crowd got on their feet at one point, like when someone won.
Was there a big crowd for Street Fighter? Like,
well, I mean, the auditorium was like the size of at our school, our high school, like where they would show plays and stuff. Like not the huge field house, but like the playhouse or whatever.
Okay.
It was like that size. And it was pretty full for that, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a classic, very small version of PAX. I didn't really do anything too insane. We played... There was a Nintendo 64 with Superman 64 playing. Oh. So we spent a fair bit of time playing that just
trying to play it.
Yeah.
That game is abysmal from what I've heard. I don't know if I've ever actually played it.
It's funny because I had that game when I was a child and I didn't know like that games weren't supposed to be awful like that.
That it was just infamous.
Yeah.
How many rings did you fly through?
Quite a few. I went through the whole like first segment where it's like rings, then like 1-2 minute thing, then like 8 minutes of rings. And then 1-2 minute thing, and then like 10 minutes of rings. I didn't think it was like as horrific as everybody thought. Like the ring part is not as bad as everybody says. Like I was able to get through those rings. Like the main bad thing is that the frame rate, like when you get to a part where there's not as many like obstacles, the game speeds up to like a normal pace, and then when things start showing up, it slows down. So when you're trying to navigate around rings and then the game all of a sudden speeds up, it's like, okay, no, this is unacceptable.
That's pretty par for the course for N64 though. So.
Yeah. So that was the main like bad thing about that.
That's cool.
They had a little merch booth. I didn't buy anything.
Anything notable or?
There wasn't anything that cool. Otherwise, I may have bought something. Although I didn't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
So wait, so sponsored by PAX, is that like literally just them like exactly what it sounds like, just providing like the funds for this to happen? Is it just like
I think it's specifically Reed Expo because they have like conventions everywhere. They're like the convention conglomerate at this point.
But is it like what is PAX gaining from this? Like just like word of mouth? Like the people are just because people in
I mean they probably take a cut of the door or something like that. Because
I'm assuming that people around the I mean this is probably not true, but I'm assuming that a lot of people around the world are aware of PAX.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely one of the top tier gaming conventions.
Yeah, like people know about like GDC and like E3 of course and all that kind of stuff. I feel like PAX is like in that conversation now. So I'm wondering if like people see, you know, like whatever expo and then they're like, "Oh, sponsored by PAX." Like that's probably pretty cool. Or like, "Oh, PAX, like I know PAX," and then they'll go. Especially because that's what got you to go, probably. Yeah. If you just saw like a random gaming convention, you're probably like, "Oh, well, that's kind of interesting." But since it said sponsored by PAX, like it brought you in. Yeah. So that's interesting. Yeah. It was also like not super crowded. It was like what time of day was this when you went? It was like midday, like maybe 1, like somewhere between 1 and 3 or something like that. Free, or did you have to buy tickets to get in? We did have to buy tickets, but I think it was less than $20 or something like that. Okay, so it was super affordable. Yeah. And there was like basically no one around, so it was, I definitely liked it a lot because it was like sometimes when those conventions are that small, they don't have enough to back up like what's happening. Like me and the same Kermit went to a new convention around here, and I don't even know if I would call it convention. It was more of like just, you know, like a conference type of thing where there was all sorts of different things. It was like such a mishmash. There was like laser tag in one corner, and then there was drone racing in another corner, and then there was demos of VR games, and then there was like tournaments with like huge screens or whatever, but like no one was there because like people like so many different things were there that no one came because there was like it was too weird. So yeah. It was a weird I don't know if I even know what you're talking about. Yeah. I can't even tell you the name of it. It was like G3 or something like that. Oh, G3. Was it in did it start with an R where it was? I I don't
know. Are you talking about the
like the
town?
city or the
city?
area? Yeah.
No, it was in Seattle,
Oh, it was
straight
in
up.
Seattle? Okay.
It was at the Quest Event Center.
Oh, maybe I don't even remember what.
Yeah, it was literally like a letter and then a number, like G3 or something like that. So yeah, that was pretty fun. I liked it a lot. I wish they had something like that here. Although I've never been to the Retro Gaming Expo, which could be fun.
Yeah.
I don't even.
I feel like what I like about what you were talking about is like not necessarily the chance to play those games, because I don't really care that much to play the ones early, but like I feel like having a convention or just like a meeting where people can get together and like play those games, like and like host like a small Street Fighter tournament, like that's a pretty cool thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure there are places around like Seattle that do that, but it's not presented in a way that's like easily accessible or like notable. So that seems kind of cool.
Recently, I've heard of things where like you kind of have to seek it out, but like it's not organized by like a conglomerate or like a like an entity. It's just like you go on Facebook and it's like Seattle, like one of them is like Seattle like Monster Hunter like meetup or whatever, and it's at like some bars down, like some like nerdy oriented, like sort of like Mock Sporting House or something like that. There'll be like a bar, like a gamer themed bar or something, where it's like, oh, you know, every Thursday like we play Monster Hunter on the 3DS or we play like I don't know, like Mario Kart on the Switch or whatever it is, and then like you meet up and just like drink or something. But it's not like, you know, Seattle's official like Mario Kart league and it's like hundreds of people showing up. It's like 10 people or something like that.
Yeah.
So
I've been sad that I can't go to every Tuesday. There's been Rocket League tournaments. I think I've told you guys about this. There's some like club in Seattle that's been hosting Rocket League tournaments every Tuesday. And I work every Tuesday, so I can't do that.
yeah.
Now, what if you just made Rocket League your job?
That's right.
That's right. That's well, you're working on it because you're a grand champion.
I'm not.
Or you're a grandmaster wizard. Or
I actually fell out of champion the other day,
no.
just because I hadn't been playing very much.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I could get back there easily, and I already have champ rewards, so
Let's go.
Let's go.
Nice.
lit.
All right.
Dope. Well, that was it for this segment of Paris Month on Also Subtle.
Forgotten Paris moments.
Of Potty Month. Here on Also Subtle. Now, courtesy of Elfster.com, do we have a few
Oh, we
lightning
can
round
certainly
questions?
go into some lightning round questions.
Just maybe like a few. Just a little few.
A little smidgen
Just
of
a little
them.
bit.
I feel a
Just a little bit for my
hankering.
little guy.
I feel a hankering for some lightning round.
Me
That's
too.
right.
Every
Now-
day at a certain time, it's like I really want to answer some lightning round questions.
Right,
but-
and this is that time.
absolutely.
My
'Cause when you
trigger
hear your
finger.
family.
My trigger finger's
Ready to go.
twitching for some firing from the hip action.
Get your office coworkers shooting from the hip. How many have we gone through, do you think?
A lot.
So many. Hundreds.
This is a classic
Hundreds?
vamping question while I
no,
figure
not
it out.
hundreds. Maybe like...
I'm going to guess 60. 60 plus, I'm going to guess. Probably,
yeah.
actually, over 100. That might be right.
I'm gonna be a little conservative and say like in the realm of like 60s, 70s.
Really? We do at least 2 each time. And sometimes
Usually
we've done
more than
like
that.
5.
But we've only done it for like
Yeah, we haven't done
15
it for,
episodes or
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh, that's true.
So that's what I'm trying to like. It's probably
Okay.
like it's at least 50 plus.
I
Probably.
might go 60 then.
All right, guys,
Are we
you
here?
don't have to bullshit
Okay.
anymore.
Thank
The
God I was getting bored
the
of that.
content, the content is here.
Let's go.
All right,
That's what
guys.
I've been waiting for.
For a journal, paper or computer?
Computer. Let's
Nothing on paper.
send it to the cloud, boys.
Recently, this is gonna sound
Oh,
like
God.
this is gonna sound really stupid. No, I don't have a journal. No, this is
In my
like this is
diary.
gonna
Recently,
sound.
I've been just writing
Recently,
stuff
I've just
a
been
lot.
writing stuff, guys. No, like
Recently,
so,
I've bought a quill pen.
Yeah,
that I've been using a lot.
guys. So look,
Sorry.
I was downtown. I saw this inkwell, right?
Yeah.
It was looking real nice.
You had to get it.
Had to buy the quill. No. So recently, I started a diary. No. This is so stupid. I like at work, very seldom, like maybe once, like every 10 years or something, I will grab a pen and a piece of paper and write something down for somebody. And it's only then that I realize that
You forgot how to write.
almost, dude. I'm not kidding. I don't write on paper at all anymore, ever. Like maybe last year, maybe total, I wrote on a piece of paper like 4 times.
Yeah.
And that's not even an exaggeration. So I feel like it would be asinine to say paper nowadays.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, you
computer
need
or
to
not.
practice.
Yeah, but like, no, honestly,
if you don't use it, you lose it.
That's
honestly, I was just writing down like, it's simple stuff. Like, at work, it would be like instructions for a customer in case they like forget a certain process or something. I'll just be like, oh yeah, I'll just like, write down like really, really simple stuff. It takes like less than like 30 seconds to write it down. But as I'm writing, I'm like, no, what is happening? Like
Your hand is just like
my hand. Yeah, I'm just like, whoa! Like my hand is like melting onto
it
the
just
page.
flies off the page.
It just, no, but like I'll make the joke too. Like at work, someone will ask me to do that, and they'll be like, "Can you like write it down for me?" And I'll be like, on like paper. I'll say something like, "Sure," and then I'll be like, "Do you have your phone with you?" And they're like, "No, on paper." And I'm like, "What? Like
on what?
On what?"
You might as well give me a cave wall and a rock.
Yeah, seriously. I just like
Scratch
so I'll
some,
just like make
hieroglyphs
jokes
on
about
here.
that, but oftentimes people are usually fine with it, but sometimes people are like just shocked that I would even make a joke about writing on paper because they do it all the time apparently, but I literally don't ever do it, so
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting. I would never do it now.
You're not Gary Oldman with your
Gary
paper and pen.
Oldman. Like I ain't playing Winston Churchill. I'm not doing any sort of method. Live in the woods, build my own fucking cabin like Daniel
Only method
Day-Lewis or
actors
whatever.
write on paper.
That's right.
That's right.
That's the only acceptable reason nowadays.
That's right. For me, man, I sure do have a nuanced opinion on this one.
Yeah.
Computer.
Let's go.
Let's go.
How about phone? Not computer at all.
I mean, that's probably
Yeah.
the most likely.
It's the smallest computer in the
I mean,
world.
I would much rather type it out on a keyboard than on my phone.
I guess that's true. But like when I'm, yeah,
In a situation
I
where
guess.
you most likely would want to do any sort of journaling or diary entries,
Yeah.
you'd probably be not close to a computer.
yeah.
Okay. I'll take your word for it, I guess.
If
No,
I'm doing
I just
one
mean,
at
You
like,
the end of
seem
every
like
day-
you
not-
have a very strong
No,
stance on
not
that.
you. I just mean like you as in like in general, like people.
Okay.
That's right.
Sorry, Jordan.
That's fine.
I didn't mean to offend you.
It's okay.
Okay.
Guys, this is a
No,
classic,
what's funny about that?
Nothing.
This is a classic question that we've basically already answered. Is a human life more valuable than the life of a dog?
We absolutely said this on the last episode as
we've
well.
definitely talked about this.
3
yes.
times.
Well, I told you about this question, but we didn't actually answer it.
Okay, no, actually, I'm gonna take my answer back. I don't want to answer that because, like,
You already did, champ.
I mean, I care more about most dogs and cats than I do like Donald Trump.
Okay.
It depends on the person, I guess, and it
But are
depends
they
on
worth
the animal.
more?
And it depends on the animal, huh?
But are they worth more, though?
What do you mean? Like in general?
But you care about them, but are they worth more as a human, as a living thing?
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Like I care more about. Or there's the care thing again. I think that my cat's life is worth more than
Your parents.
no more than
Okay.
like I don't know.
I was about to name someone.
I can
that
name a
we
few
know.
people from high school who like my cat is definitely worth more than their lives for sure.
That's fair.
But that's you personally, okay?
Yeah, I know.
If an-
Well, this whole question.
If an
is,
unbiased third party stepped in, yeah.
look, I'll present a fact
I guess
sheet.
it is just your opinion, personally.
Yeah, but like I'll present
Wait,
a fact
but what
sheet.
about, is this saying just any cat or any dog? Like, what about someone else's cat? Are they worth more than that
yeah,
random?
Probably.
Damn. Savage.
For
So
at least a few
cold.
people.
If there's a gun up to, like, a human person that you don't know and then a cat that you don't know, which one would you say to shoot?
Oh well, that's the part where I'm like, you can't say like who is it our
Say
place
it.
To, is it our
Which
place to
one is
say?
it?
It depends.
There's an
like,
easy answer to that.
if they're wearing like some cool shoes or something, then maybe
The cat?
Then the cat's
He's
wearing
got
the
some
shoes.
cat slippers on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Probably just the cat. I don't know.
Okay.
Kill the cat?
No, save the cat.
Wow, that's savage.
If I don't care, I
That's nutty.
I don't care.
Yeah.
The person, the
This
cat,
is also
the
a
cat
com-
ain't gonna cure cancer.
This is also a fantastical situation that would never happen. So I don't
That's
even
right.
I don't even need to worry about it.
I love painting you in a corner. It's
I
a
know.
national pastime,
It's great.
and I'm sure you love painting us into a corner.
Well, you do it daily,
So it's fun.
Yeah. It's fun stuff.
It's a fun time. Okay, are we doing more? Let me see where
Sure.
we're at here.
Yeah, that one was Garbarino. So.
That was a
We'll
garbage.
do at least one
That
more.
one was a garbage disposal.
But I know we're over 20 minutes at this point. So.
yeah, I know. Let's just
Okay.
one more. Make it a good one.
Well, I don't control the order that they go in. How about most embarrassing store you might be seen shopping at?
Oh, most embarrassing store that maybe like
Anime World.
that's a good one.
That's not even a lie.
For me, it would probably be like.
For the record, I've never been
Olive
there.
Garden.
I've never been inside that store.
We've been
Wait,
inside
really?
of it.
Inside, no.
Why not?
We went inside one, right?
Have you had the chance to?
I've walked past it multiple times at the mall and have
Why would you
restrained
not go
myself
in there?
because I don't want to be
Because
in
you have a
that environment.
deep-seated hate for yourself.
Because I like what I like, but I don't like it when other people like it in very outlandish ways. They're very
Okay.
extravagant in their like for things.
But what does that have to do with you going into a store and
Because
purchasing
I have
it?
to be near them.
Oh, so it's the people that are within the store? What if it's empty?
I might take a peek inside.
But there's also the employees.
The employees are definitely there.
Yeah,
Unless
they're
it's
definitely
just
extra.
an unmanned store. It's manned by robots. I can walk in there. There's no one else in there. I'll be fine.
That's insane.
What if the robot just like throws up the peace sign and says like
Sawdust.
And I'm
Sawdust.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah. And then when you leave, it goes, "Arigato gozaimasu."
yeah, I would never step foot in that store again. No.
So honestly, like I don't get like I wouldn't get embarrassed with any store really. Like maybe the only one that I can really think of is like first off, anything that's mildly embarrassing, I would probably just buy online. So there's that. But
Yeah.
like I guess you can consider it embarrassing just because of the way society is constructed. That maybe if I go into like Bath and Body Works or like Lush or something, and like the other day I went into Lush and bought some sick ass like shampoo or something at the mall.
That's embarrassing as fuck.
If someone
Wait,
saw me
you
going
said-
in there and getting my little bag and like walking out and be like, "Oh, I got my like fucking bubblegum princess like shampoo or whatever,"
That's so
they'd probably
fucking
be like,
embarrassing.
"Damn, like that guy's so in touch with like his feminine side. Like that's so gay.
That guy really thinks highly of his hair.
That guy like really likes his shampoo to smell real good."
I like how you said the other day I went to Lush to get some shampoo or something. You didn't know exactly what
I
it
didn't
was.
know what I bought. No, it was I
Conditioner.
went in and bought some shampoo, but like like they have like
Why?
hand soap and like I don't know, just for fun.
All right.
They have
The man can't buy shampoo.
They have
I'm just
curious. Because back in December, they have like
Not
a
even body
seasonal
wash? No, I'm just kidding.
It's body wash. Actually, I did buy some body wash. Not this time, but back in December, they have a very popular shampoo and body wash, and like they have like hand soap and bath bombs and stuff, and it's called Snow Fairy.
Yeah.
And it's like this. It's like a pink, like real, like glittery ass fucking like Lush, like totally like stereotypical Lush product. But it is like it smells like Willy Wonka's factory. Like it's just like good ass smelling like candy and like bubble gum and like
Yeah.
all this stuff, and it smells great. And so I bought some of that, and then I don't know. It's like it's that time when they're putting out their special like seasonal thing. So I went in there and checked some stuff out. But like if someone that could be seen, I guess, as like weird for like a
Yeah, it's
dude
embarrassing
to
as
just
fuck,
like
man.
roll in and like have a little bag like with his little shampoo and like like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care personally, but
For me, it would probably be pop doll stores.
Yeah. Hot Topic?
Oh God, yeah, that's probably it, man. That's probably it.
Hot Topic is embarrassing to be in because it's like so egregiously like cultural, like pop culture.
Yeah.
Like it's just like everything pop culture is like fucking like anime t-shirts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
you
also
like
'cause
keychains of you like Overwatch. We have 15
Yeah.
Overwatch like fucking cups and like just
I
ridiculous
feel like
shit.
that's the good like thing about it. The bad thing is that it's still like half emo. It's
Yeah.
still like
Yeah.
goth.
And you
It's
still
still
go
stuck in
you
2006
still
a little
go
bit.
in there and you still hear like My Chemical Romance being
Yeah.
played like full volume.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
not
everyone-
even like an exaggeration. Like they would play that.
No, for sure.
100%.
And everyone in there hates their dads.
It's true.
For like no doubt.
Like No Doubt, the band.
That's right.
Let's go.
They would probably play No Doubt.
Yeah. And that would be one of the more acceptable bands.
Yeah, I like No Doubt, but actually they would probably steer away from that.
They 100% play like metalcore, like stuff where there's some screamy.
Yeah, and they do like what's that? Yeah, like AFI, or maybe not even AFI. It'd probably be more like fucking that song that I always make fun of. The God damn it, the one about
the most generic.
sitting in the back playing
Yeah.
Russian roulette, like that kind of stuff. Just like literally,
Juliet.
yeah, all the like suicide ass songs that are just like they sound like a joke, but
Yeah.
they're all just ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely for teens. So I also feel.
I mean, I always
bad
make the
about
joke
that.
where it's like, "Mom, drop me off at Hot Topic. Like, drop me off before them all, so people don't see you drop me off." Like that kind of thing. It's like that's what it is.
Drop me off inside Hot Topic.
Drive into the mall, drop me off, and get the hell out of here.
That's right.
That's what it is. Guys, we're calling it. We're calling it quits.
Let me just say real
Elfster.
quick that Hot Topic owns Box Lunch, and Box Lunch is a much less garish, offensive version of the same situation.
That's basically like the. That's like the Bellevue-ized version of it. That's
Kind
like
of,
the
yeah.
hipster, like millennial version of.
Yeah.
Of it's the hipster Hot Topic. Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Enough of that shit.
Okay, jeez.
Sorry. So we've talked enough.
But Danny Elfman gave us so much.
Danny Elfman.
That's so weird that no one would ever get that. It's because it's Elfster, and so I made the jump to Danny Elfman.
I didn't even get that.
Yeah, you guys
I
didn't even get that.
That was
so.
a very.
I knew
it
I
wasn't
had
even.
to explain
It wasn't
myself.
even a deep cut. It was just so deep. It was just like far out.
I shot straight through your body.
That was
it wasn't even a
insane.
deep cut.
You transcended. All right, guys. Well, we have talked enough about that, and I've had enough personally. I don't ever want to hear it again. So we're gonna talk about film. One of my favorite things around here. But before
these
we talk
parts.
about our wacky film of the week, Following by Christopher Nolan, we're gonna talk about two films that my boys over here watched. I didn't really watch much of anything. Who wants to go
Okay.
first? I'll leave it up to you. Figure it out.
Mine's very short, so
Okay.
I can go first. I watched The Shape of Water, one of the highly nominated and award-winning film from last year. Or
The Best Picture.
Technically, it came out this year, right? So, Best Picture. Decided to finally watch it this weekend, and I thought it was very good.
You liked it?
Yeah, it's very. I probably still wouldn't say it's a better film than Get Out. I still think Get Out is my favorite film from that area, that time. But
Of the ones you saw, right?
yeah, the ones that I saw. But it's a really good film, and I think pretty much anyone can enjoy it. Like, it's not, even with like the weird monster thing, it's still very much a like approachable movie that anyone can like sit down and watch. Like, oh, this is like not a fun time, but it's enjoyable and like it's beautiful, first of all. So that's goes a long way. But it's very good.
Yeah, I think when I was talking about it, I said out of by that point, I think I had seen pretty much everything except for Darkest Hour and like Phantom Thread, probably. On the post, but those are kind of, you know, what you're getting yourself into. But with this one, I think I said that it was the most like movie-esque of the Best Picture nominees. Like the other ones could definitely be seen as like less approachable, like more like art house or like indie or just like too zany and weird. Like
Yeah.
with Three Billboards is like too far out on the other side of the spectrum. But this one is like right in the middle, where it's like a Hollywood kind of sort of like a Hollywood blockbuster-esque movie that anyone can really walk into, but then it has elements of like, you know, old Hollywood and like it's like a love story, so that's not always approachable
Yeah.
for people and things like that. So
Yeah, I thought it was really good. So
did you like the, I don't want to spoil anything because you haven't seen it, right, Colter? Did you like the tributes to like classic film? Like, did you catch any of the, there's one segment in particular that's black and white.
oh, that part honestly my least favorite part of the film, just because it's so just like I don't know, like it's very over the top in a way that I just didn't feel like was that like
Yeah.
like interesting. It doesn't do anything new either. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
like I get it. And also it's like it's very long, like that sequence. I was like, this is fine. Like I'm not a huge fan of that, but it was I don't know. The nods to just like old school films, just the way it's like shot and the way it looks is very much like everything kind of looks like this very like high quality like set piece, or like this like stage presentation, like the way like all the scenes, like especially like where the main characters live, it's kind of like this like weird apartment, so you constantly see them moving from one side of this like apartment, the doors are open, and then just move across the screen to like another apartment. It's kind of this cool, just like you get to like see like it looks like a stage like play when they're doing that kind of stuff.
There's a lot of real sets.
Yeah,
Like, there's a
it's-
lot of like the little fishman is all
Yeah.
real except for like his eyelids, I think.
Yeah.
Because that you just can't, like his eyes
Yeah.
are like obviously CGI, but the suit is all real, and then like the facility, like the apartment, like all of those like pretty much everything in the movie is real. They even built like the little like tank that he lives in and everything, which is pretty cool. But
Yeah, it's very cool.
did you buy the love story?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like
Because the
I feel
way
like-
it's interesting with the way that they present everyone as like outsiders and like, you know, finding each other.
Yeah,
and,
like I think like it's very easy to like accept like it's not the first time that's ever been done, and like it makes sense. Like I think the main actress, I don't remember what her name is, Sally something.
Sally Hawkins.
Yeah, she does a really good job of like selling like that whole thing, because like the actual fish monster, he doesn't say much of anything if he says anything at all. So it's really like up to her, and like just their like body language kind of sells it a lot. So I think that goes a long way. Yeah, I bought it. Like it makes like it was compelling enough that I was like interested to see the entire film. So
Did you cry?
No, I felt emotional at one point. She has a kind of like a very serious like monologue that she says, and I was
With
like,
her
okay.
roommate?
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is like a very it's like touching enough that she was like, I was like, oh, this is nice.
That's the scene that everyone references.
Yeah, but yeah, highly recommend it.
Yeah, I think you should see it, Colter. I think you'd like it.
I would be down.
I do own it on the iTunes. If you want to come over and watch it.
Wow. You can't just hand me your iTunes copy.
I can't.
I can't.
I can't do it. That's not how this world works.
Can't trust you with it.
It's a symptom of this day and age.
Okay.
Give me your computer.
I'm glad you liked it, Jordan.
I'm glad.
I wasn't sure if you would. I mean, I figured you'd like it, but I wasn't sure if it was your style of movie.
It's not, certainly, but I still think it
has elements of
certainly well done
of movies that I think a lot of people will enjoy. Yeah. There's something in there for everyone. Some action.
Sure.
Got some comedy.
Yeah.
Got some romance.
Yeah.
You know, it's shot well, looks nice, good score. Has some good elements.
You got some highs?
You got some highs. Now, Colter, you watched possibly a more I wouldn't say depressing, but a little bit of a darker movie today.
That's
in
right.
fact. And that movie is
Following.
Let's go.
Just kidding.
That's not true.
Boom.
Well, it is true, but that's not what we're talking about yet.
I've watched so many films today. Guys, I watched a film called A Quiet Place that we've already reviewed, so I won't talk about it.
All right, great.
Quiet Place. Did you like it?
I did. It was very good.
So guys, we saw Following this week. No.
that was arbitrary. I really liked it a lot. It was I feel like people had given it, or like it has a really high score on Rotten Tomatoes, but I feel like Jordan, weren't you like,
which is always
you
dangerous.
liked it, but you didn't. It wasn't like you didn't love it.
I think what I had said, I enjoyed the movie. I don't think it was my it's not excellent to me, but I also said that when I like one of the things that I wish I'd known going in was what kind of movie it really was. Like I was expecting a horror, like very much a like horror movie, and that's not what I felt like I got. But I think that what it does is pretty good. It's a very novel film.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it a book? Was it a book?
I couldn't tell you. I don't think so. I'm not sure.
Do you mind looking that up while
how would it be
we
a
talk
book?
about this?
Are you confusing this with Annihilation, which was a book?
No.
Okay, I don't know then.
What do you mean? How would it be a book?
Well, they don't say anything, Colter. No, no. Like I don't know. For some reason, this screams something that can only be truly like conveyed through film or like through visuals.
Yeah, I think John Krasinski might have wrote it or someone.
He produced it or directed it, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he directed it.
Anyways, I don't know. I mean, what's the difference to you between like horror movie and what this was?
This to me is more like I imagine this movie is more to me like
because I guess Alien isn't really a horror movie,
or like Sixth Sense or something, or Signs. Like those movies aren't particularly like scary. Like they're tense at a lot of points, but they don't like they're not horror films. You know, they're like kind of sci-fi films, but they're like thrillers a little bit.
Yeah,
and that's what I felt like. I felt like this movie is a lot like Signs or Sixth Sense, like that kind of like horror.
It was not based on a book.
Okay,
and it wasn't like it wasn't a sequel or like any sort of like existing. I guess it said something about it had the best second weekend of any horror movie that wasn't based on a book or like a sequel or like an existing franchise. So it was an original screenplay from someone.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was quite good. I think it was satisfying in basically every way. I think everything like had a payoff. The characters were very well set up.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times in movies, the dialogue, you don't find it believable, or like it's too much or it's too little or something like that. And so getting rid of the dialogue completely and like just having situations and like body language and stuff like that really works out. Also, my mom told me that that's his actual wife. Yeah, like they're actually
Emily
together
Blunt?
in real life.
Yeah, they're married.
I had no idea.
They've been married for
Happy 5-year
Let's hear it, People
anniversary.
Magazine.
I don't know. A while.
Happy 10-year anniversary to them.
Yeah, no, it has been for a while.
Cool.
So that probably helped out quite a bit.
I didn't know that.
But the kids were quite good too. I always wonder how the kids like are able to seem so scared. Like, how as a kid
actors.
do you just channel that like pain of like something happening
One
to
of
you
the
like
kids
that?
was deaf.
Yeah.
The girl.
So I see how she could channel that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like scaredness is like a whole different like thing.
No, I just mean like that wasn't like based on anything you were saying. I just mean like I think it's
arbitrary.
I think it's interesting. It was, but I think it's interesting that I guess he really pushed for her to be in the movie for one reason or another. Either I don't think it was purely because she was deaf. I think it was because she auditioned and she was great, and then the studio was like, and he apparently like really fought for it. So
her part in the movie seems like completely natural. So like good on them for doing that, I guess. But she is one of the better characters in the movie. They're all good,
everyone was saying that she was pretty great. I still haven't seen the movie.
It's great.
I didn't necessarily like have any big surprises. Like I wasn't hugely surprised at anything that happened, but I felt like the most satisfying thing like happened in each situation. So in that way I could kind of predict what was going to happen, but I wasn't like mad at it when it did.
That's kind of how I felt too. Like nothing, like I said, nothing surprised me while I was watching it, but I still enjoyed like what was happening is still like really interesting and like tense. Like that's how I felt. It's just like I was like on the edge of my seat, like, oh, like what is gonna happen in this situation that's gonna cause like them to like either like mess up or like make some sort of like ridiculous noise, or like how are they gonna do this? Like the movie does a great job of selling all that, and like, that goes a long way for keeping you interested in it.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was executed quite well. And I definitely recommend it to whoever. I wish I could talk a little bit of spoilers, because
I was gonna say, how did you feel about the ending? No spoilers.
Well, I thought it was a little out of tone with the rest of the movie, just the very last like basically shot of it. But I didn't have a huge problem with it. I felt like there was something at the end that I was like, okay, why did that have to happen? But other than that, like nothing.
Yeah, I think I remember like saying when I talked, was like the ending is probably pretty divisive for people, because I could see a lot of people watch that movie and the ending is very abrupt too. Like I certainly felt like the movie could have had like another 30 minutes, because like there's got to be some sort of like wrap up to what's happening here, and it kind of just cuts off like very abruptly. I was like, oh, okay, like I respect that, like that's a cool thing to do, but I'm sure some people were like, I don't like how that ended or something.
Yeah, I remember you saying that, and I thought, like, at one point, it kind of seemed like it was wrapping up, and I was like, are they going to cut it off right here? I remember Jordan saying that they cut it off abruptly, and then no, like, there was a whole nother, like, scene. So I was like, oh, thank God they didn't, like, cut it off right there. I don't think that the ending was, like, abrupt, necessarily. I think that maybe, like, did you want to see what happened after that? Like, were you like, oh, man.
Part of me wants to see how that plays out, but the other part of me knows that it would never be as cool as what, like, I can imagine it happen. Like, what I imagine is going to happen is not going to actually be as cool as what could have been filmed.
Was it like the end of The Grey?
If something similar like that, where it's just like you...
Like, maybe not that literal, like...
Yeah, it's not quite like that, but you're like... you know something will happen like at like the end of the movie, but it doesn't show us. It's just like okay, like, and like I think that's fine. Like there's no part of me wants to be like, oh, did they actually do this? Is this actually what happened? Like I just think it's very abrupt, because I feel like everything else in the movie has like a end and like finish point that is very clear, and that's kind of the one thing that was just like, that's a little like out of tone, like you said, for the film, but I enjoyed it.
See, there are abrupt endings like The Grey, which are, you know, you can argue if that's good or not. And then there are abrupt endings like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you're kind of thankful that it's over.
That's right.
And it like has like it makes a statement. But
and then there are abrupt endings like Infinity War.
Yeah.
Nice.
I suppose.
we won't be talking more about that.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah,
Cool.
very good. Better than I thought.
I plan on. Well, I don't know if I'll see it. I want to see it in theaters, but since everyone I know has already seen it, I'm not going by myself. Maybe I will. I don't know.
Also, everyone was not lying about the whole like eating popcorn or like doing anything.
You
like,
can hear every movement.
I was worried about my phone like vibrating.
Yeah.
Like that's how crazy it was.
I will say that that's the only movie I've ever been in where you could literally hear a pin drop. Like everyone was so silent except
I was
for
like,
the
I don't
want
to gulp right now. I don't want to swallow.
Like we went with, or I went with some friends, and a couple of us had popcorn, and I made sure to like eat, like I literally ate like one piece at a time, so I wasn't just like scrounging through it. But there were other people who were kind of digging in, chewing a little bit. I was like, I can literally hear everything. Like this movie is dead silent, and like you can hear anything.
Is there any dialogue?
There's some, but like they're whispering. They're very quiet. Other than that, not like.
Is there a score?
Yeah. There's music.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's like. Okay.
But there are parts where it's very like quiet. And
It's not like the entire movie is straight up silent, but like I'd say about half of it is like so quiet that you could hear like basically anything.
And I think part of it is that when you're watching it, people are like, "Oh, I don't want to make a noise." Like these people are trying to be very quiet in the film, so you're kind of like sitting there like holding your breath a little bit, like, oh, "What's happening here?"
Yeah. See, that's why I want to see it in. Maybe I just will go see it one night. I don't know. Yeah. I want to see it in theaters because everyone's saying the experience is interesting.
Yeah.
There was a gentleman there that was watching it by himself.
I'll see it by myself. I'm not afraid.
Also, it's kind of funny because we were in a reserved like seating theater or whatever, but we all just happened to occupy. There was only 5 people I think in the theater that I was in, and we were all like clumped up like almost in the same area when we could have been like spread out like way farther than we were. But we all just happened to be like right next to each other. So I was like, I'm not gonna make a fucking move. Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Fun times.
Alrighty, well, I will hopefully see it soon and report
I'll be seeing
back.
you. It sounded like you were going to
I'll be seeing you guys.
Bye.
Now, everyone shut up.
All right.
We have to talk about the following,
It's time for your soapbox.
You mean following?
It's time for a soapbox corner.
It is following,
It's
isn't
just
it? I hit my mic.
Jesus.
Guys, every week here on Not So Subtle with the boys, we pull out a movie from the Wacky Film List, and we watch it, and we talk about it. Now, we're a little bit delayed on following. We get it. All right? I'm sorry.
Stop the emails. Wait.
Stop it. I'm hearing from all 7 of you. All 7 views. That may have been one of you watching it multiple times. I don't know, all right?
Or may have been us.
It could have been us. But you didn't leave the review on iTunes. We know that.
Of course not.
So
I would never do that.
So a couple weeks ago, I don't know, whenever it was, we pulled following, and we, watched Infinity War. I was dead one week. I was dead again. And then, we watched it now. So shut up.
And then he is risen.
That's
Dane.
right. He has risen to watch following. Thank God. That's what a film this was. By Christopher Nolan. And we're here to talk about it.
We sure are.
Quick disclaimer: this is a shit film. No.
I agree. This movie's shit.
No, I won't say that. But
I will. I'll say it.
Okay, thank you.
I'll say it before anyone says anything else. This movie's shit. All
thank
right,
you.
Go ahead and continue.
All right, so this is Christopher Nolan's first film. It sure looks like,
and you can tell. Boom!
It sure looks like the first film.
Nice.
And it, it's definitely a movie.
What? Did you guys actually dislike it that much?
I was not a huge fan of it.
I will say I was bored for most of it, and also I think the acting was pretty not great.
Yeah.
And the writing is bad.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't feel that at all.
There's some very stilted delivery in there. Yeah, I don't know. So basically,
something about black and white throws you guys into a fit.
Oh, I like black and white. So
I hate black and white. That was the one thing I hated about this movie.
Really, that's the one thing I liked.
No movie should be in black and white.
That's the one thing I liked.
That's because you're a hipster.
That's right. So guys, this movie is a little intriguing. I'm gonna set it up real quick.
Okay.
It's the first film ever made, and basically this dude is a writer, and he ends up, for one reason or another, not in a sexual or creepy way, following people and observing their routines. But one day,
that was hilarious. How the guy was like, "Oh, so you follow women?" He was like,
no, it's not a sex
I literally
thing.
Just said it's not a sexual thing.
Anyone.
Yeah,
I was like, so you rape women?
He's like, so you're a rapist? He's like,
just
well,
like following.
not quite. I just follow them. Yeah, so he follows these people and he observes their routines, and like he kind of just is a strange individual who likes observing like human patterns
He's
and
bored.
like movement. Yeah, he's just
very
really
bored.
bored. And so
As with a lot of our films, this is when a man has nothing to do. He'll resort to ridiculous measures.
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So he did anything in this movie, and that ended up being him following people seemingly randomly, as he said. But one day he gets in a little over his head and gets wrapped up in what can only be described as a series of shenanigans.
Burglar.
Yeah, he meets a burglar. He meets
the Hamburglar.
So yeah, he meets the Hamburglar in a cafe.
No one can say it. He meets the Hamburglar. This is like nuclear.
He meets the Hamburglar.
Hamburglar is such a good word.
So he goes to the Hamburglar plant. He meets a burglar, and this burglar it like basically like instructs him. He like basically takes him under his wing and teaches him how to be a burglar. And
It's never not funny.
And
He
for some reason,
burglarizes.
like he burglarizes. He gets wrapped up in like I said, a series of shenanigans. And it's kind of just in typical Nolan fashion, it's presented seemingly out of order.
Yeah.
Has lots of unexplained time jumps and character interactions that make almost no sense until you watch the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, it felt more like a gimmick than ever.
He makes you feel dumb.
Yeah.
Yet again.
Yeah. This movie was just dumb.
Wow, man.
I kind of didn't like this movie.
I didn't like this movie one bit.
Wow.
I know
know,
that
it's just
just
a normal
earlier today.
movie.
Earlier today, we were joking about how I like to see the positive in a lot of things, and I do have some positives for this movie. But overall, just my quick take, people always say like with a Nolan movie or with like a Nolan's probably the best example. They always say like, oh, it's so heady, like it's so like. It's we know it's a Nolan movie because I walked out like feeling that I had watched an essay, and like it's like convoluted and just ridiculous and like gimmicks with time jumps or like Nolan-isms and things like that, and it was it was never more apparent. Like I never really got that. I never really understood. Like after watching Inception, some people were like, yeah, I don't really get the whole dream thing, and like they would just have some complaint about his shtick, and I never really got that until watching this movie, and I realized that like I still like all his other movies, but with this one, it was the one where it was most apparent that he was going for like a very specific. To me, it felt like some sort of like gimmick or some sort of like it was like a one-trick pony kind of thing, and I didn't. It was just like the mechanics of the story were too apparent to me, and it kind of detracted from like the narrative and the
Wow.
I've
I've seen movies that have felt like that, and I just really didn't feel that with this. Like I was thinking of it, maybe if you're like thinking of it as like a real like huge budget movie or whatever, like
I wasn't.
Maybe. I was thinking of it as like a student film, and I was like, these guys are good for like students if they are like students or whatever. These guys are like, I was kind of they were almost like old timey actors, like kind of a little more theatric or
that's
whatever.
what I was gonna say. Like there was definitely moments where this reminded me of like Vertigo is the closest thing that we've seen on this list where it could be compared, where a lot of the times like it just has that kind of old timey feel of like delivery and the way that they were kind of interacting with each other, and even just like the things.
If this was an old movie, it would be a classic.
I mean, I don't know if it would be. I mean, potentially, but the thing is that like that none of that stuff bothered me. It was the fact that like I don't think like Jordan was saying, I don't think the writing is that good, and I feel like the delivery with, especially the blonde. Well, she doesn't have a name. The blonde.
No one has a name except for Cobb.
Yeah. So the blonde lady, like I think she's a terrible actress.
They're all bad.
Like they're all like I think they're the majority. I think the main guy is fine. I think he was okay. Like in most scenarios, I thought he was fine, but everyone else I thought was like virtually awful in a lot of ways, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it just kind of it was a distraction for me.
The time jumping thing like has been done better in Nolan films like Memento. Like this movie is clearly a predecessor to Memento. Like you can see obviously how Memento came from this movie because it's like it's not the same like storyline, but it's very similarly like structured. And I'm watching this, I'm just going like, okay, like this main character is a loser, and that's fine. Like, sometimes movies can have likable losers, but he's never a good loser. Like, he's always just a bum and just like sad and annoying.
Yeah, I never cared about him.
And he the couple times where he's like required to show anger or act, he just doesn't ever do it. Like, there's a scene at the end where he's like
with
trying
the
to
hammer.
he does like the thing like against the wall with the
Yeah.
hammer in his fist and like trying to like be really angry against the blonde lady. I'm just like, dude, this is like I get that this is a low budget film, but it comes off that way really badly. Like, and you can make a low budget film and that's fine, but like, this is not. I wouldn't recommend this movie to anyone except for the fact that if you want to see it, because it's Christopher Nolan's first film. That's the only redeeming thing about this movie, is that it's his first film, and that's the only like good thing about it. Other than that, I can't find a single good thing about this movie because it wasn't that fun to watch.
Guys, we watched 2 different movies. I guess I watched a different one, and they put on their goggles and watched a secondary.
No, like,
What did you like about the movie,
I don't want to
Colter?
be overly negative. Like, I
was bored the entire time.
I
is
liked the
thing.
black and white presentation. I liked that there was a lack of light in a lot of scenes. Like, I thought like the tone of the movie was pretty cool. And, like,
The audio was mixed horribly.
Yeah, the audio was pretty bad, but like, well, actually, in some ways, the audio it sort of reminded me of, you guys haven't seen Call Me by Your Name, but there's a lot of scenes in Call Me by Your Name where
you can't hear a damn word they're saying, but you can hear the plink of a cup.
Well, there's a lot of scenes
down.
where they're sitting next to like a road or something. There's cars driving by, and it like sounds like you're actually like there sitting at like the cafe or whatever, and you're like, wait, like these characters are literally like, you can hear what they're saying because they're yelling to each other because it's so loud in the environment, but like it presents realism in a different way than this one does. In this movie, it's just it's almost heightened. They almost like literally put a mic in like the fucking bowl in the cafe, and you can just hear the spoon like clanking against like everything, which is, I mean, there's probably some sort of stylistic choice there. I didn't like it. But yeah, like the cinematography I thought was good. Like the score in its own way was interesting, even though one of the recurring noises was just grating to my ears and actually caused physical pain.
I will say, if anything, that the one thing I did like about this movie was the sound, like the soundtrack, like the songs, the like score that was in it is like interesting in a way. I don't know if it fit the movie that well. It kind of sounded like a horror like track like at some points, but it was interesting enough. I was like, okay,
There's kind of like one theme that they brought back a lot.
And
It was
I
kind of
think
good.
it was good.
I like that. Yeah, I don't know, like the whole mood and kind of tone of the movie was interesting. I think if anything, the black and white added to that. But I just didn't like I didn't really care for any of the characters, and I didn't really have any investment in where the plot was going. And when it finally got there, that's the part that bothered me, because I felt like it was like a very glaring, just like narrative, gotcha. Like it was like an M. Night Shyamalan moment where it was like, whoa, twisty, turny. It was just not.
Like none of that feels earned. It's just like
it just felt like that was what they were building to, but it didn't.
Yeah, like they deliver one line at the end. I was like, oh, we never found a woman's body, and then it's just like, fuck off, like come on, like, and then it just cuts immediately to like the group of people being like, oh, we planned this whole thing and tricked him. It's like,
yeah, and like there's
come
at the
on,
end
like,
they literally
it's just
explain
silly.
it. They're like, so what we did was we tricked him, and he's gonna not do so well now because we got away with the crime. And they just like literally explain exactly what they did, and like they just beat the viewer over the head with the plot twist. And it was just fucking awful.
I feel like you guys are taking what happened and then you're exaggerating it to a ridiculous degree. Like it wasn't even close to that bad. Like you've seen The Room or whatever. I haven't seen it yet, but like that's an example of actual shit. Like actual garbage filmmaking.
No, The
But
Room is artistically better than this.
That's a bold claim. I wasn't bored by The Room though. Like the Room, even for as garbage as
so
it
that
is,
means at least it's competent. Like
it's still funny. Like it's still a funny enjoy. Like I've had more enjoyment out of The Room than I have probably 80% of movies I've watched
because
of how
it's so
good
bad.
it is.
That's not my point. Like my point
it's
is
not.
that it's more competent. This movie was more competent.
This movie
than
is
that.
made by someone who's clearly like a skilled like director and like really like
Visionary
who became a
mastermind.
very like great director and like visionary like artist. But this movie is not that. Like he clearly has grown since 1998 when this movie was made. And I get it. I understand this movie is his first film, but it just is not that great of a film.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
No,
commits-
my only thing is that you guys are acting like it was literal garbage, and it certainly wasn't.
I think it kind of
an
had
actual like if I had seen this film in theaters, I'm like, damn, this sucks. Like the acting is bad, the writing is bad, the storyline is bad.
Yeah.
I like those are the things I look for in a movie, and I didn't like any of them.
Sure.
What did you like, Colter?
I was honestly, no, I didn't think it was like amazing or great even. Like I was more invested like in this character than like in a lot of the movies we've watched. Like
I can't believe
I don't
that.
even know, like basically name any movie I've called an art movie and I was probably more invested
There's
in this
no way.
guy. We've watched a lot more recently,
Darko.
but yeah, I mean that was a straight up like art vehicle, so that doesn't even count. This was way more straightforward than that. Memento, like I feel like I don't know. I'm not gonna say I cared more about the main character than Memento. That's another like really different film. I'm talking like Taxi Driver or something like that.
There's no way that you cared more about this guy than Taxi
I felt
Driver.
like it's the same type of situation where they're both just like sociopaths like living by themselves, and like in Taxi Driver they just spend way more time of him like doing his own thing, and in this movie they actually have like they move the plot forward rather than like focus on him just being a head ass in his room.
Yeah, but the writing in Taxi Driver and the presentation in Taxi Driver is a billion times better than this movie.
Yeah,
what they're trying to do in Taxi Driver is put you in the mindset of him. They're basically trying to like just expose you to the way his mind is working.
The acting is also way more believable. Like that's like Dan said before, like I just felt a lot of the dialogue is just stilted. Like the scene in the cafe when Cobb and the guy are talking, like I also hated that scene because they do this one like cut like 40 times
where
like,
it just cuts
very
between,
quickly.
yeah.
Like I got sick. I was like, what
cuts between what?
It cuts between Cobb and the guy, the main character, like 6 or 7 times, like very rapidly,
like
while each one delivers a line. It's like, okay, like just hold the camera there and say your like 7 lines together. Like you guys,
each
can
time
do that,
they deliver a line, it just cuts to them saying it.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, and that was getting really, really annoying.
That bothered me greatly, but that doesn't happen all the time.
That
like,
was
there are
more
times
just
where they
an
do that.
amateur like
Yeah,
kind of filmmaker.
like that comes off as very amateurish, and I get that this is a apparently low budget film, but
as an aspiring
it's not
filmmaker,
good.
like I'm not trying to trash on this and say like it's not literal garbage. Like it's the movie is like there's like elements that I enjoy with it, but just overall for like a film, like for a film that's presented as, I've heard a lot of people say that, like some people say this is like their favorite. No, not the
Those
best.
people are up
not
their
the
own
best.
ass at
Not
this
the
point.
best
Come on.
Nolan movie. They didn't. By no means says no one said that, but some people have said that it's their favorite of his. And so when I heard that, I was like, okay, well maybe it's more of like a, like if you guys have seen Reservoir Dogs from Tarantino, like there's that whole element where people say that's their favorite, but I can understand that because there's like some cool narrative elements to it, and like the writing
Reservoir
is good.
Dogs
and
is a good movie.
all that kind of stuff.
Is it not? Is it?
No, it is. No, but I mean like some people, like when I heard that, that's an example of where I could have, like I can buy that, but then when people were saying that this is their favorite Nolan movie, I just cannot get on board with that. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying it's complete garbage at all, but like it's just for a film, there's a lot of issues with it, and I feel like I don't know if this is what he had to do to like, you know, learn the ropes or kind of like get himself into the position to make like all of the amazing films that he has, then I mean that's totally worth it because he's cemented himself as one of the greatest directors of all time. But yeah, I don't know if I can get on board with this one.
Yeah, I would say if you want to watch an early Nolan film, watch Memento instead. It's clearly, this movie, Memento is clearly inspired by this movie, or at least parts that were taken from it. Not taken, but, you know, like, he clearly learned and applied this to Memento, and that's a better movie, in my opinion. I don't think I liked Memento very much, but it's still certainly a better movie than Following.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's possible on another day, maybe I would have hated it and like been a lot more critical of each little element. Maybe I was just, you know, chilling. Maybe I was just in a good mood.
I'm not trying. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I hate being overly critical of this kind of stuff, but it was never like just there's so many things like popping out at me at a lot of different turns where I was thinking like it was actively distracting me from the fact that I was watching a movie.
Yeah.
It was more about like me. It got to the point where I was like analyzing the structure and like, you know, mechanical elements of it, which I didn't like. I don't like doing that.
I was doing that, and that's because I just didn't care about what was going on in the film anymore. Like at
that's
that
what
point,
I mean. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so bored. I was just like, I just didn't care what was going on. I was like, okay, like
That's
this
what
is
I
like,
mean,
like what's happening here? Like, and then that's when I noticed very quickly, like the cafe thing. I was like, cut. I was like, no, that's weird. Or like when they deliver a line of dialogue, I'm just like, okay, like this is like.
Because I'll
It's very
notice,
stilted,
yeah, I'll
and-
go into that mind frame or that mindset where like I'm kind of noticing, for better or for worse, I'll be noticing good and bad things. Like when I'm watching like a good action movie or something, I'll be like, damn, that was like a long one take or something like that. Or I'll kind of get into the mode where I'm just like interested in the way that they're filming all the stuff. But then in this one, it went the opposite direction. It was like I was not invested, like you said, enough in what was actually happening. So then my brain kind of just like wandered, my two brain cells connected and wandered off to the negative aspect of that, where I was kind of like just paying more attention to the stilted dialogue and, you know, poor writing and things like that and like the weird audio mixing and things like that kind of just like pulled me out of the movie a little bit. So don't want to trash on Nolan because I think he's a cool dude, but not a big fan of this one.
It is thankfully also a very short movie. The shortest movie we've probably ever watched.
Maybe the shortest movie I've ever seen.
70 minutes. Not very long at all.
Yeah. In conclusion,
what's your review of it? What's your score?
I'm gonna give it. I mean, there were elements of it that I enjoyed, but overall, as a movie, I don't think it's my favorite. I'm gonna go with like a 6, I guess, like a 5.5, 6, somewhere around there. And that's more like, just like, I guess as art, this is kind of in the same vein as what was that movie? The cell shaded one. I'm already
Scanner Darkly.
Scanner Darkly, yeah. It's kind of in that same vein where, like, as an art piece, I think it's interesting and has its merits, but as a film, like as an entertainment piece, I was not feeling it. So as a movie, I'm gonna rate it somewhat low, but
for the audience, I would in no way compare these two movies.
No, I'm not. The only reason I'm bringing that up is because I said the same thing about that one. Like, I gave that movie like a 6 or something like that, but I said that as
your opinion of it is similar.
Yeah. So these movies are not close together at all. But yeah, for the same reason, I'm going to say it's like around I'm going to say like a 5.5.
Cool.
Yeah.
Am I next, Jordan?
Sure.
I'm not the host. I don't know.
Well, you asked him.
I just wanted to push it along, encourage.
That's right. So I guess, listen, if you're going through movies with a fine-tooth comb, no, I'm just kidding.
As you do in every episode.
If you run out of movies to watch.
I usually do. No, I guess on my end, I'd rather watch a straightforward movie that's bad than an art film that's good, apparently.
That's the first and only thing you've ever said that upsets me.
Wow. I feel like you've always been more or less, you've been accepting of my opinion.
I have,
that's always been my
that
opinion.
one.
Oh, okay.
Because
Not
this film
just
is
this
so
film?
wildly I just can't follow you down that road on this film. On other films I could see it. On this one, not so much.
It sounds like
I
you're
don't know.
saying
There's
you would rather watch this than Apocalypse Now.
If you
That's
had
correct.
said that,
That is
sentence,
ridic-
if you had said that sentence, I would walk out.
That is ridiculous. That is absolutely insane.
Having seen both
I'm not
of them.
I'm not personally attacking you. This is just I'm just appalled by anyone.
Listen, I
saying
already
that.
said that I would have walked out of Apocalypse Now, or I would have considered it. There's a definite disconnect between the members of Not So Subtle on a couple movies. This is one of them. I didn't think it was a masterpiece or anything like that, but I enjoyed myself to some degree throughout. So yeah, take that with what you will. I guess I have basically the same recommendation. Like, you don't need to see the movie. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, like, this is a great movie. I'd be like, oh, if you want to see the other Nolan movie, like, watch this. Might as well. And if you like, you know, you guys are going to disagree with this, but I mean, if you're going through all the like weird, you know, out of order movies and stuff like that, might as well watch this one just to add it to your repertoire. Sure. Even if it's, you know, not
No, I
the
mean,
greatest.
that's interesting. And like I said, like as an aspiring, not even like filmmaker, but as someone who's interested in like film creation and like, you know, the process of that, like I never want to,
Listen, you've said your piece.
Yeah, but what I'm going to say really quickly is that, like, in response to what you're saying, I don't want to, like, go out of my way to hate on something that someone has put a lot of their energy into. Like, I don't want to be like, why do you even make this movie, bro? Like, it's so shitty. Like, the dialogue's bad. Like, you fucking suck. It's like, it's not that. It's just, like, I didn't really enjoy it as a film. It's just, like, I don't want to, like, trash on his, like, art. Yeah. It's just, for me, it didn't work.
No, yeah.
So... yeah, I just want to make that clear.
Criticism is a fair criticism, regardless, unless you're just out of left field and just have no reason to say it.
I know, but like it's easy for people to just like nowadays when people I won't go off on a tangent, but people like, you know, just when they don't like something like a Marvel movie or whatever it is, they'll go on like YouTube and just absolutely trash it. They'll be like, this is the worst piece of garbage I've ever seen. Like, obviously a lot of it's just hyperbole, but they'll say like, yeah, this director needs to be like killed. Like, I can't believe he like Marvel paid him money to direct this piece of shit, and like blah blah blah. And it's like it's easy to forget that these people put a lot of like of their like personal like soul and like heart into like, these movies. So I don't want to like trash Nolan, but just in this case,
How many times have you called a movie shit?
a lot. But like,
There's a difference between saying it online and saying it to your friends. I'll say that.
yeah, but it's like it's just easy. Like and I'm even trying to be conscious of that nowadays because I forget what I was watching like an interview or something with it was something related to the Razzies, I'm pretty sure. Like some movie that was just absolutely panned and just... I couldn't tell you what it was. It was on YouTube like a long time ago, but they were interviewing the director like separately away from it. And the way he was talking about the movie, like he put like a lot of like work into it. Like obviously movies take a lot of time, but it's like no one ever goes into a movie being like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about this. Like it's easy to say like the Peter Jackson thing where it's like, oh, you know, he's just doing it for the, you know, the paycheck to make The Hobbit and all that kind of stuff. But with any movie, I fully believe that no one goes in like not giving a shit. Like they put a lot of energy and like some sort of like part of them is like ingrained in that movie. So I don't want to like, I'm going to be more conscious of, you know, doing a blanket statement saying this movie is shit.
Wow.
So.
Bold man.
Yeah. Anyway. Sorry, Jordan. What is your opinion of this movie?
This movie is shit. I'm gonna give this movie 1 hamburgled house out of 4. Hamburgled house out of 4. Yeah, I've said my piece. Again, I think Christopher Nolan is at this point in his life a great like visionary artist and director. He's clearly learned from this, after this movie, he's learned some things. He's clear. I mean, listen, you have to start somewhere, and he started at this, and like clearly he had some ideas. I don't think they're executed well, and he clearly learned from it and moved on. And I mean, he's obviously in a much better place now. But this movie is not. This is not his like defining moment in his career.
No, not at all. But it was a stepping stone. A
hamburgled stepping stone.
It was a stepping stone towards what would eventually become that moment for him, which is arguably any of his current films.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we watched Following. We talked about it. We gave our little reviews, our little opinions. And we will be pulling another movie at the end of this episode after we talk some video juegos.
Let's effing go.
We always talk about some video juegos here at this point.
Here, let me just wait. Hold on, real quick.
Sorry, Colter.
Rotten Tomatoes tomatometer 79% following. Consensus: super brief but efficient. Following represents director Christopher Nolan's burgeoning talent in tight filmmaking and hard-edge noir.
Metacritic score 60. You left that part out.
I didn't look at that.
Okay.
Listen, I'm just saying that there are some people that agree with me. That's
Absolutely.
all.
There are some people who think this movie is fine, and
more than fine.
I mean, that person. I don't agree with that person's opinion. I mean,
well, that was probably just the overall consensus of.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
but let's please move on.
Yeah, we've said enough.
That's right.
Now, guys, like I said, we're going to pick a film shortly here, but before that, we're going to talk some video games. Jordan, I know that you've been playing... I'm just going to put you on the spot here. You've been playing some Battletech.
I've been playing Battletech a lot.
Which has been... It's a game that I've seen mentioned somewhat frequently on the, in the Twitter sphere, on the Reddits, on the YouTubes, on the Twitches. Tell us about it.
Okay. So... particularly the people that I follow on Twitter and in gaming, I know mostly what they like, and so when this game came out, I was like, okay, like, they're talking about it, they like it a lot. It has a lot of things that I happen to enjoy quite a bit. Mechs, strategy, tactical, turn-based stuff, and it's thrown together in a way that is supremely pleasing to me. So, I don't think not a lot of people, I think this is the type of game that a lot of people, some people maybe, won't like, because it is very, it's slow, it's paced, like, pretty slow for any type of games. Like, have you played XCOM, Colter?
No.
Okay.
I'm aware of how it plays.
Okay, it's similar to that, except you're using giant mechs. Very roughly. There's still more, like, the layout for the game is a lot of, like, management of like certain guns you're using. You have to watch like a heat temperature so your mech doesn't overheat in the middle of combat. You have to make sure that your mech doesn't take damage and fall over from stability like hits. Like there's a bunch of like in-depth things like that happen like throughout the battlefield, which is fun to me. Like at first there's a lot of the points in the game where like at the start, the tutorial is very simple. And it's just like, hey, you can like learn how to move in this direction. It's like, okay, obviously you click and move. Like that's very simple. Okay, here's how you attack. You target this thing and shoot. Like, okay, like that's all right, great. I know how to do that. The game does not tell you the strategies to like succeed in like actual combat missions where like the enemies are like focus firing on like one target, and so they'll just like, there was one mission like in the middle of the game where I was like, I can't beat this. Like I'm not equipped, like well equipped enough to handle anything that's happening to this right now, and I felt like it was unfair. But as I've progressed through the game, you just kind of learn like the strategies that are happening in there, and they're very like detailed, but you can learn how to kind of like game the AI a little bit and like work that strategy around, and like that's fun for me. It also has like a fun like you don't get this at the start of the game, but there's kind of like a base building management type of thing going on,
which XCOM has as well.
Yeah, so you're kind of like upgrading the ship that you're in, so you can like support more mechs. You can like have like boost your team's morale, so you have like do better in combat, things like that. But I've enjoyed it a lot. I put a lot of time into it over the last 2 weeks, I think it's been out, so highly recommend it. Also, the story is pretty good. I think I'm nearing the end of it, but the game is set up in a way where you can kind of just like travel to any planet and do missions, so I've kind of just been doing that to build out my mech armory. But I've enjoyed it a lot.
I do have this game. I haven't put nearly enough time into it.
Yeah, I will say performance-wise, it launched roughly. Dane's game crashed immediately after the first mission, which happened to a lot of people I saw on the Steam reviews, but it didn't happen to me. But it was a common thing. Still doesn't run great, which is troubling, but I've looked past it at this point.
It was a little upsetting because the first time I played it, I finished the first mission and I didn't save throughout it because I was doing all right, I felt like. And then like there's a cutscene or like a little like lore element to it, and then you get introduced to your ship, and then there's like a little like dialogue, and then you get into like another tutorial telling you about like how to like repair your mechs and like, you know, just do like ship stuff, like general like resource management. Yeah. And then like immediately after that it crashed, and then I had to do the entire mission over again because there's no autosave, and I was a little upset. So that kind of put like a little damper on my excitement for it, but I mean, I'm not like, I'll still play it. I don't hate the game. It's fun. But it is very deep. It was deeper than I was anticipating.
Yeah, and like it comes from like a tabletop game, and from what I've read and seen, people have said that they've done a pretty good job of just translating like the tabletop stuff over to a video game, and a lot of that carries over with things, you know, like it's very much like Dungeons and Dragons type of just like, oh, here's like your initiative order, here's who's going first, this kind of thing. And like one of the other parts that upset me a lot, and not upset me because you kind of understand this when you're playing like XCOM and like Fire Emblem, those kind of things. It's like, oh, this person has, you know, a 95% chance to hit. Like all the things are on dice rolls, but like it's like exponentially increased in this game when you're using you can have like a missile launcher. She's like 20 missiles. Each one of those missiles, like if it says, oh, you have a 95% chance to hit, each one of those missiles has a 95% chance. It's not just the entire like barrage. Mm-hmm. And also each one of those missiles can target a specific part of a mech. It's randomly decided when you shoot. So it's like, okay, you have a 95% chance to hit 20 times. And also you might hit its right leg, like with 3 of the bullets, and like it's like torso with 17 of them or something. So like all that stuff is happening, and it can feel incredibly unfair. Like there's multiple missions where I started, it's like, oh, I'm doing fine or whatever, you know, like I'm moving my mechs in, we're doing great, we're not getting hit. And then a sniper mech shoots one bullet and just blows my mech's head off, and it's an instant kill on someone, and like they don't come back from that. I was like, I'm just gonna restart this mission. Like I can't afford to lose a pilot or a mech because of one stray shot like that, because that's just frustrating. Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, and there is permadeath. So if you lose a pilot and you've invested a lot of like time or money into them, it's all gone. Yeah,
because like one of the core like parts of the game is that you're running a mercenary like outfit, and you need to like take these contracts, like these missions, to make money and pay off like your loans and interest on all your like mechs and like gear and stuff. And so when that happens in a mission and your mech gets blown up, it can cost an entire like contract's worth of payment to fix a completely destroyed mech. And like if you only have enough money to survive 1 month in the game, which is like not that much time in the game, you're like, you either are going to lose the game or you have to like just give up on using a mech that you might like really enjoy.
So just like America.
Yeah, pretty much. Like
it's if you can't afford to make your house payment, you're going to be homeless.
I mean, the money part of the game is like very much like at the start of the game, I was very much like I don't have enough money to like like support having this mech, so I just have to
My
scrap
family.
it. Yeah, or like anything. It's like there's little like dialogue missions that pop up when you like transfer between like plans and stuff, and like little stores. It's like, oh, like you're being attacked by a pirate or something, or a pirate like warlord is contacting you, or like, hey, these people are asking for medical supplies. It's like, okay, I can either give them these supplies or ask for like $30,000 or 30,000 credits in exchange for the supplies, and it's like that might have an effect on your team's morale or like something like that. And like those are a bunch of like fun little storyline things that'll happen. But like like I enjoy strategy games, I enjoy mechs, I enjoy tactical warfare, and this has all of it.
Would you play any game with a mech?
No.
No?
Honestly, I like there's a ton of different variety of the mechs in this game. They have like light mechs, medium mechs, heavy mechs, and then the final group is assault mechs, and they're all like designated by weight class. So you have just like these 110-pound or 110-ton mechs like running around. These are like giant compared to like the little small ones that you can see too, and like that's fun to see. But there's so many of them that like you see one on the battlefield and it's like, okay, you know, like if you usually at the end of the mission you can collect like salvage from the enemies you've blown up. So it's like, okay, here's like this mech. If you blow it up, you can like retrieve one part of the mech. You need 3 to complete a set and like get one of the mechs. But if you blow up like a torso part of the mech, if you core the mech, as they like to call it, which I think is a cool term, you barely get any parts from it because it basically blows up the entire mech. But if you like shoot the legs out from the mech, blow both the legs, the mech will like, it can't fight anymore and it's down for the count, and you can collect like way more parts from it. Or if you like get a headshot on the mech, you can collect all the parts of it. And, like most of that stuff is luck, but you can still like, there are abilities like target specific parts or something, but like that's a fun part to try and like not collect all the mechs, but collect the ones you want.
Damn.
And to put it in perspective for the size of these mechs, even the ones you start out with can just literally just step on a tank.
Yeah.
Like a full size like military tank, you can just like step on it and kill it in one hit. So they're pretty big.
That's one of the
They're
other
like
things
Gundam size.
Yeah, like they don't look like Gundams. Gundams are very like sleek.
Let's get
and,
that
like,
straight.
agile.
Real
Yeah,
fast.
these look more like kind of militarized.
Yeah, these are
like,
machines of war. Like these are just straight like machines.
They're just like
industrial,
blocky, kind of like very crude.
Like not all of them are like a lot of them are humanoid.
If a tank
like,
was a
shaped.
human,
That would be a mech.
yeah.
Some of them are humanoid shaped. Some of them are just like they have like the legs like they're bipedal, but they also just have a giant like cockpit and like that's it. Like with like a laser on it. Like it's just like a bizarre.
Yeah, like they
thing.
don't look like Gundams in the sense that they have like cool stylized edges and like
no.
swords and stuff.
They're very
It's like
blocky and
yeah.
like
Which I kind of
They're the
like,
American
though.
Gundam.
Yeah.
I kind of like it though because it's like a
cool.
very like blunt kind of just like crude.
And there are some
instrument
that
war.
are slightly more like Gundam-esque, but they don't like, you know, they're not all like that. And I think that's cool. Like there's a ton of variety in there too, so that's fun.
You can go in and like outfit like individual like weapons. Like you can put like, I want to do like a bifocal targeted tractor phaser beam on this one, but I want a hydro missile fire on my other one.
It's really not like that. It's more like there's 3 types of weapons. It's like you have like energy weapons.
But like the way that
cannons.
you can customize like the in-depth like sides.
Yeah,
of, like,
and all the mechs have
stuff.
different like loadouts. Like okay, this mech can only have like some of the big mechs like you can have 7 laser weapons on it. And it's like the smaller ones like you can have 1 laser weapon and that's kind of it. But they're very fast, and move around. Or some of them are just like you can have like mount like the heaviest weapons in the game, but it can't move like at all. So you kind of like a very slow movement. But there's a ton of customization and that's fun.
What? That sounds nerdy as fuck.
It is.
It is. It's
but
basically like
lit.
mech D&D.
Yeah.
Which
He
is
said
kind of interesting. Yeah. Colter, have you been playing anything?
Well, I've been playing a fair amount more God of War.
Yeah, that was the
I was telling you boys about it the other day.
I think I came into the middle of the conversation, so I heard that
And interrupted it rudely.
I'm not going to
We didn't
spoil.
get to finish it.
I joined the Discord right when you were in the middle of talking about it.
Yeah, I was just going to say that without spoiling anything huge or anything like that, there's a boss battle where you fight 2 brothers, and that's about where I'm at. And it was fun. Yeah. How far am I through the game, guys?
Well,
Hit me
I mean,
with
there's
it.
no need to tell you that. I would say you've made
decent
progress.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a long game. It's longer than you're probably expecting.
I've heard it's a long game, so
it's longer than any of the other God of Wars, for sure, by a lot, I think.
Okay. I'm having a fair amount of fun with it. There was one point at which I was not like winning against anyone, and I was like, wow, this game just got really hard all of a sudden. And then I was like, wait, hold on. I'm still like using level 2 armor, and I should be using like level 4 armor. And it was because I didn't have like enough resources to get the armor I wanted. So I was like, I'm not going to spend money to get like slightly better armor when like I just need to fight like a few, or I need to get through, you know, this level or whatever, and then I'll have the stuff to get like, you know, awesome armor. But then I like wasn't killing anyone, and they were like killing me in one hit. And I was like, okay, maybe I just need to bite the bullet and get like, you know, better armor, but it's not what I really want. So yeah, that's weird how in this game you can't get like what you really want. I've played somewhat few games where you can't get like the best, or not like the best thing, but like there's something that's, you know, pretty high up that you just can't get like at your current stage, because there's like gameplay progression that you need to make to even get that armor that's really high. So like you almost literally can't even get it.
Well, some I noticed that in God of War specifically, they will kind of drop, or you'll get like, not even like a blueprint necessarily, but you'll get like an item or something that pertains to a higher gear set, like like multiple levels above you, and then you're like, oh, that looks lit as fuck. But then it's like, there's no way of really knowing unless you like, I guess, look up a guide or like look up something online, that you won't be able to really make that armor for another like, you know, 5, 7, like 10 hours. And some of that is not even like through the story. Like some of the ones that popped up, like the if you've seen it yet, like you probably haven't seen it yet, but like it's like this fiery armor, multi armor.
I've been to the fire like
the Muspelheim.
Yeah.
Okay, so like that you get like, it shows you that armor, that you can craft that armor before you ever go there, and it's like it's not like story progression. It's like once you have like those ciphers to go there, like you can just play the rest of the game and never go there, and you'll never get that armor.
Yeah, that was actually like the armor that I wanted to get, and I was like, okay.
And it looks so dope, and you're like, dude, this looks like this looks fucking awesome. But then you literally can't get it unless you go like do that optional stuff. So the way that they do that was kind of interesting, because like one of the problems I have with the game is that there's a lot of resources that they don't really explain well enough to you. I don't think like there's,
they don't
like,
really tell you where or like why you have them.
Like there's just a bunch of different resources, and you're like, okay, I understand that I can get like, some of them are pretty obvious, like you can get these from killing the travelers, and you can get these from killing like the arcane like beasts or whatever. But then a few of the other things you just find in random chests, and some of those are locked like way into the end of the storyline too. So like you'll never, like some of that stuff was a little confusing, because you want to get the dope armor, but you don't know how.
I will say
you can't grind it out if you don't know where to go.
Like I think I said, when I made to Muspelheim, I stayed there and did basically everything so I could make that armor. I literally didn't switch that armor out until I was done with the game, basically, because it had become so powerful, and it was so much better like than everything else I was finding. I was like, this is great, and also it looks fucking lit. So
it does look dope, but like the higher end like upgrading of that to get it to the very highest tier, you have to go through the hard trials of Muspelheim, which you won't want to do.
Yeah,
I
did the first one, and then the second one is you have to kill enemies, like hit like the finishing blow on like 3 or 4 enemies at the same time, almost. And when it was wolves, and then there's like 3 or 4 wolves, and then 2 of the guys that go underground and then tunnel at you. And I was like, this is fucking impossible. I'm not doing this. So if you have like, you know, better abilities or whatever, it might be easier to pull off. And that was before I had like realized that my armor was like severely under equipped. So I might just go back and like nail that. But at the time I was like, fuck this. And then, because there's multiple trials to that too. There's like, you know, a lower one where you have to kill everyone. Then there's one with like a golem or whatever, and then also a wich, and you're like, fuck this. Like, that's really annoying. Because if the golem comes back to life, that'll take a little bit to like get him back down hell.
What I did in that one was, if I remember correctly, I just basically like weakened all of the other enemies, and then like just saved my Spartan Rage if I had it for the golem, and like bring him down really fast. And then if you just jump on him and kill all the other people using his attacks, you can just execute him and kill him. That's what I did, I think. Yeah. Or you can just not even jump up on the golem and just save him till the end and just wail on him and kill him. But
it's interesting. I'm having a fair amount of fun with the game. I fought one traveler that this was before I like souped up my armor again, and he killed me. He's had the ability to kill me in one hit, and it literally took like probably 40 hits to kill him or something like that. And I first, you know, when you're like, okay, I'm probably not well equipped enough to do this, but I want to do it at my current level.
Yeah.
And so you just keep going over and over and over.
I literally did that every time I would stumble upon like one of the rifts, like at the start of the game. It's like they throw like these like like the heavy drawer at you. They're like level 6. I was like, fuck this, like I can do this. I literally just like spent probably a good hour just like trying to, like, okay, can I just like throw my axe? Like if I just sit back and throw my axe a lot, I think I can do this. And I end up doing it by being cheap like that and like trying to like find like the easiest way to do that. But it's certainly that happens a lot.
Yeah, after I increased my defense, it was like, okay, now it's like kind of possible, because they were killing me in one hit, a lot of enemies. So yeah, I'm having fun with that. I will be playing it more.
Yay.
Also, playing a little bit of Rocket League.
Okay.
Fell out of Champion, but I will be playing it more. It's double drop rate weekend this weekend, so I'll be going in.
Let's go.
Got a couple keys I need to use.
Fire off. And they announced today that Monster Cat Volume 3 is already coming out. Which kind of soothes the pain from the last one being half as long.
Yeah.
Because if they come out twice as often, it's okay if they're half as long. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. And then RLCS LAN Finals is coming pretty soon here. I think it's in June, actually. Not like immediately, but yeah. First time ever in Europe. That's kind of interesting. I'm more into esports than I ever was, especially only because of Rocket League. So I actually know who all the teams are. I know who the big contenders are. So that's going to be interesting to see who can win this.
Who's your pick for?
Who's my pick to win? I hope NRG wins. The team with Fireburner.
Let's go. I hope he wins too.
We've discussed. He's actually
such a dope
like
name, dude.
I don't want to say that he's the worst on the team, but he's definitely the least on the team. He's like the least notable, but he like holds the squad together or whatever. Because there's a rookie on their team, and the thing about Rocket League is these rookies are so like mechanically insane. Like Squishy is another example, and the rookie on NRG is named Justin, and he's just like a nut at like dribbling. Ceiling shots are like a big deal now, where you go off the ceiling, and like air dribbles and just crazy. He like invented a mechanic where you can like stay on 2 wheels and then like drift around like in a circle. They call it tornado drifting. I don't know if he invented that actually, but he like popularized it, got like insanely good at it.
Wild.
So yeah, that's kind of interesting. The reigning champs, Gale Force Esports from Europe, are definitely the ones to beat. So if they win again, it'll be the first 2-time like
repeat champs
from the same team.
Yeah.
Because there's been only one player that has won twice in a row, or twice like in general. And it's his team that's... So if he wins this one, he'll be the first like 3-time. He'll be the only one to win more than one, and he'll have won 3 times in a row. So yeah, that's going to be exciting. And if NRG can take it, it'll be one of the first North American wins in a while. I think possibly the first North American win since season 1, and it's season 5 right now. So,
all right,
exciting stuff. I turned into sportscaster mode.
Yeah, good luck to NRG.
That's right.
I mean, that's exciting, but I just like it's.
If you're not invested, you're not invested.
I'm very disconnected from it.
That's right.
But it is interesting, and I wish I was excited about anything in my life as much as you are about that.
It's just it's not even excitement as much as knowledge and interest.
Yeah, no, it's cool. But I don't want to hear about it anymore.
You're definitely interested and knowledgeable on many other things. I love how you like got done insulting me, or not insulting me, but
like
kicking me to the curb, and then I give you a compliment. Yeah.
Yeah. No. That is. Thank you, but that is
Great.
That is interesting, legitimately, because esports is a crazy thing right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. The closest thing I'd maybe get into would be Overwatch, but that's too mainstream. All right.
Okay.
Also, it's hard when North America is like not
Trash.
Like
good.
not
Yeah.
even. Yeah.
It's
like South Korea, and then everyone else. Just
I mean, I actually heard that Boston's team, although like all the teams are so like multinational that
that's
it's
true.
like
That's true.
like even if it's like, oh, it's a North American team, it's like it's really not. Like everyone on the team is from like well, there might be one North American player and there's a bunch of people from other places. So like
I've noticed that like
that's cool.
obviously on South Korea, like everyone is from South Korea,
Yeah.
pretty much exclusively. But then like even on I don't even know like an example really, but on some of them, like none of the players are specifically from like. None of them are like, it's like the Houston Outlaws, for example. Like, it's not like all those people were born and raised in Houston. It was
In
like,
fact, probably none of them
like
are.
maybe not even a single one. Maybe like they're from like, they could be from other countries completely,
Yeah.
or they could be from like the other side of the United States. So yeah, I don't really think there's any like, there's no like Houston pride or like, oh my God, like all these Bostonites. It's like, well, it's the same thing like with soccer where it's like Ibrahimovic is playing for like LA now. It's like, doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
So yeah. I haven't really been playing anything.
Okay.
Besides,
Let's go.
let's go,
there it is.
dude. Okay, so
The blob.
I'm gonna keep this really, really short because I know no one on this fucking planet cares at all. Least of which,
Or
you
the
guys.
people that do care aren't watching.
That's that's definitely true.
They're busy playing
so
the game.
Every so often, I get real sad and I download a mobile game and I
Feels
just
like you do
play
that almost every week.
all the time. I for some reason I get sucked into mobile games really easily, but this time it's changed my life for the better. No, not really. I downloaded
Such a bold claim.
That is such a bold claim. I downloaded I can't even say it without laughing. Disney Emoji Blitz. All right, I did it. I said it.
Nice.
Disney
thought it and then you said it. The
I
process
did. The
revealed.
process revealed. Disney Emoji Blitz is the like bottom of the barrel mobile game in a lot of ways. It's a match 3, which you hear that you roll your eyes back a little bit. Everyone has seen it. You've played Bejeweled. You've played Candy Crush. You've played Puzzle Quest, what have you. They're all the same.
But none of those had Mickey Mouse in it.
But none of those had Remy,
Remy
in
Bucks
emoji
Aplenty.
form, Bucks and Menti. None of them had the Hatbox Ghost.
That's right. Let's fucking go.
None of them had fucking this dude. So many characters in
I
this
have a
game.
Shenzi.
goddamn idea what you're talking
So
about
many
right
characters.
Shenzi,
Ed,
Bonsai, and Ed.
Yep.
now. And Ed.
So basically, it's to put it very simply, it's a match 3 game. It's not like Candy Crush because it's not a puzzle you have to solve. It's not like Bejeweled because you can't go forever. It's more like Bejeweled Blitz if you guys have played that. It's like a time attack. So it's basically you have 60 seconds on the clock. You got to match as many emojis as you can, and they're all cute Disney emojis. It literally could be anything from like Ariel and like I don't know, Simba or whatever, to really obscure things from like Disney parks or like side characters and things like that, which is kind of interesting. But when you unlock,
Have there been ones that you have no clue what they are?
there is a few from like movies I haven't seen, like Inside Out and like a few of those where like I recognize like the character design, but like I couldn't tell you their names from like there's stuff like that. But there are some obscure kind of like
Remy's brother.
Yeah, I don't know what his name is.
Are you serious? Your favorite Pixar movie?
It's my favorite Pixar movie. No, I
Jeff.
don't know.
I've caught you in a loop.
You have. No, but so basically
It's Hamburgular.
Hamburgular. No, so basically in this game you have to match
Hamburgular
emojis
Bucks
and
Aplenty or whatever his name was.
it's a Hamburgular Warbucks.
Okay,
Yeah, so
I need to figure out what Remy Bucks Aplenty is from right now.
I don't know why I'm even talking about this game, to be honest, but I haven't been playing anything else, honestly. I've been playing like PUBG and like we played Fortnite and stuff like that, but everyone's talked about that ad nauseum.
We've never talked about Fortnite on this podcast, I'll tell you that.
Have we not?
No.
Okay, well, we're not going to talk about it now. We're going to talk about Disney Emoji Blitz instead. But yeah, so basically, like, you just are trying to match as many emojis as you can and just, like, make combos and chains and stuff like that. You have 60 seconds. But the formula was mixed up a little bit this week because they introduced a PvP mode called Food Fight, where it's pretty much the same thing, but you have to, like, as you match the emojis, like little items will drop down to the bottom of the board and you have to collect more than the other player you're playing. So it's like a real PvP element, which is kind of interesting. It's more interesting than your standard kind of just high score like loop. And there's an event going where if you complete all 3 stages of the event, you unlock the Remy emoji, which listeners know is the best Pixar Disney character of all time.
Not even just your favorite Pixar movie, the best Pixar character.
That's right.
Now, when you say it unlocks the Remy emoji, does that mean you can use that on your phone?
Yes.
Okay.
You weren't expecting the answer to be yes, were you?
So-
I mean, I kind of knew. I just want to make sure.
So the interesting part is
sound
that
excited
you can
about it,
use
I'll
them,
say that.
You can use them as emojis on your phone, like just typing normally, but you can also use them as stickers. So you can like post the stickers like on things on like in iMessage, which is whatever, but it's cool in the game because you're like, and they all have different abilities. So it's like the Simba one will like call in like a stampede of animals that like run across and like cut out gems, or it's like the one I'm using right now is what's the Darkwing Duck. He basically Darkwing Dark. He summons, or he like makes a bunch of clones of himself so that like his little emoji will pop up multiple times on the board and create like a power up that you can use to like clear the board and stuff like that. So they all have like, if you unlock a new emoji, even if it's like a lame character that you don't care about, it could have like a cool ability that you can use, and you can level them up and like increase their skills and things like that. So it's sort of like this weird loop where I'll finish a match and be like, well, I'm so close to like getting, you know, Buzz Lightyear or whatever. I'll just do that, and then just like do that. And there's like hundreds of emojis to collect, so it's kind of fun.
Cool.
It is so stupid that I'm even dedicating time to talking about this, but it's been a fun time waster, and I really want Remy.
Okay.
And I will do whatever it takes to get him.
I never knew you were such a diehard Remy fan.
I mean, I just think he's so cute.
It's a recent thing. Some would say arbitrary.
Get out of here. No,
I've loved Remy since day one, alright?
What's the name of the human love interest in that movie?
The girl?
Yeah.
Fuck, man, I don't know.
Russelina.
Man.
They're all weird ass names.
Hamburgular.
Hamburgulord.
I can picture all their faces and everything.
Yeah.
In the, like, I can remember all of the movie. I just don't remember their name.
I'm changing my handle to
Is it Caroline?
Hamburgulord.
No, it's not Caroline. What is her name?
By the way, I found... Well, you have to give me credit. Well, you can't.
Okay.
That would be funny if you said Hamburgulord, courtesy of Colter.
That'd be a very
Colter
long
Potter.
handle.
That's right. Also, not on this subject at all, I found Remy Bucks Aplenty is from Fairly Odd Parents, yes.
Ah, nice.
And I'll have a picture of him on screen now.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
He's
anyway.
basically like the Fairly Odd Parents version of Squilliam.
Yes, that's correct.
Oh, we forgot to talk about anime.
Well, we won't start now.
Okay.
Guys, thanks
So-
for watching.
Guys, that's been Not So Subtle, episode 40. So, guys, we're real close to being done, but we're not done yet, because the most important
We're
part...
real close to being done. Hang in there.
Hang You've made it this far, little guy.
Yeah, we're talking to our little guys. Is that the name of our fan base?
Little guys.
Please.
I
Little
don't know
and
about
gals. Little thems. Well, hold on.
Little thems.
Little theys, thems, zeezers. I think it's time to pull a film. What do you guys say about that?
Sure.
Do you want to?
I mean, it's your turn,
I
pal.
mean, I know it's my turn. I wasn't asking if you want to do it. Do you want to?
Well, I mean, you just said, do you want to?
Like, do
Hey,
you-
fuck you. I'm going to do it.
All right, guys.
The female love interest
Mega
name.
Man, why don't you tell us what goes on with this bag here?
Really quick, the female love interest name in Ratatouille is Colette.
Colette. I was going to say
okay.
Caroline, but that wasn't it.
I was going to say, no.
She's straight up French, so.
Yeah, I know.
It's funny that she has a French accent and Linguini doesn't. Linguini is like, hey guys,
Yeah, what's up?
I'm American. I mean, he might be American in the movie, but.
Could be. Maybe he's Italian.
We don't know.
Sorry, I don't speak Italian.
We
so-
don't know.
All right,
Nice.
Dane's currently reaching into the bag to pull out a movie that we're going to watch next week. Although it might be a wild card, and hopefully it may be a Disney Channel original film.
With all luck, we may see Xenon on our television
Yeah, which one would you
screen.
pick? There's so many Disney Channel original films
Well, I'll
to
tell you
choose
right
from, and they're all
now.
amazing.
I'll tell you right now, if we get my wild card, I'm not picking any Disney Channel original film, bud.
I got so excited that you actually would, but I know in my heart that you would never. But maybe you would, just to throw us off guard. I don't know.
Maybe. Just
All
to
right.
waste my wild card pick. That'd be great.
All right. I hit my mic.
Nice.
I didn't actually. Okay, I have a movie.
All right, what is it?
Whiplash.
Let's fucking go.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
cool.
so this is one of the newer movies that we've put on the
Yeah.
list, both like recently, in addition, and also when it was made. So, this could be interesting. This is a great movie. I love it.
You've seen it?
Me
I have.
and Dane have both seen this movie. We're showing it to Jordan, but everyone that I know needs to see this movie.
Yeah,
Because it's the perfect movie for me.
so-
it's my movie.
So, a little background really quickly. This is directed by
Little boy background.
Damien. This just a little background for my little guy. This is directed by Damien Chazelle, who also did La La Land. I would say this is
Arguably a worse film. Oh, no.
well, that's upsetting to me. No, I think
Well.
both of those movies are great. This
Very
is a very
different.
different movie
Yeah.
than even though it is involving music or the arts. It is a very very different movie, and some would say a little disturbing. It's a strange movie. I don't think you're ready for it, Jordan.
Definitely don't think of that as the first adjective.
I have a general understanding of the movie, so disturbing probably is not the word I would have used to describe
I would say
that, but-
disturbing.
There's, some tense parts. That's all there is
Yeah.
to say about that.
It's a very personal film.
We can just say it's about jazz drumming.
Yeah.
It is, but much more than that. So I'm
My
excited
life
to hear
story.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts, Jordan.
Not yours, Colter, because we don't care.
I don't
That's
care
right.
about
I
yours.
have no particular
We-
insight on this film.
Right. It has nothing to do with anything in your life. No, we've talked about it before, but I want to hear more. So we'll be watching that next week. We'll watch it before we record, and then we'll talk about it, and you guys
And then
will
we'll probably
have-
get some food.
and
And
then we'll probably get some food. And
Probably
we'll just
talk a
walk
little
you through
bit.
everything. No, but that being said, that means you have around a week to watch Whiplash if you want to, and hear our thoughts. Maybe even shoot us an email. It's not so subtle at gmail.com. Drop us a Facebook comment at It's Not So Subtle. Twitter. Maybe if we're streaming. Hit us up. Not so
Sure.
subtle on
Are
Twitch.
those the official plugs?
Not really. I was just kind of throwing it out there.
You did
Okay.
slide that. That was a pretty smooth segue, but now we've lost the plot. So
Well, that was just kind of just throwing it out there. Just
Okay.
for my little guys.
all right.
Because when we're here, we're family. We're here, we're family.
When we're hamburger, we're
We're
family.
hamburger,
We're
we're family.
Or Famburgular?
Okay. Well,
Let's do our plugulars.
okay. Well, so it's that time where we do a plug. Who wants to go first?
Well, I wish
Colter,
you'd
you can
stop
go
that.
first if you want.
All right, viewers who have tuned out. Guys, you can find me at Colter Potter on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch, guys.
Let's
Check
go.
out my Paris photos on Instagram and like them and comment on them and just tell me that you want me. What?
I
What?
will
Hold
do that.
on. Can I comment that on your post right now?
Sure.
Let's go.
Okay,
go.
well, while you're
Let's
doing
go.
something not related to the podcast, I will plug myself. You can find me, Jordan Miller, at the Killamilla, although I may be going by Hamburger Lord shortly. XD. X Hamburger Lord
amazing.
X. No. The Killamilla on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and whatever have you, video game stuff. You can also follow my blog on Tumblr at Tenzo-Taicho.
I like it.
Right on. Guys, if you want to check your Instagram, Colter. If you want to follow me, on social medias of pretty much all varieties, just hit me up at Lane to Point, Instagram, Twitter, I guess Facebook. You can probably find me there if you want. Twitch, all that kind of stuff. And most recently, I uploaded 2 videos that I made that are both probably shit. One of them is a quick little artsy-fartsy 1-minute Instagram video of my trip to Leavenworth, very quickly edited on a iPhone app. And the other one is a exploration of basically, like, it's more like an artsy kind of like edited on a real computer little short film.
You went down to Kirkland.
I went down to Kirkland. Went down to the waterfront, looking for a soul to steal.
That's right.
Nice.
And yeah, I took some just like interesting shots of just seemingly ordinary things and stitched it together. And that is now up on my Vimeo page at Lane to Point on Vimeo. Because hipsters use Vimeo for these kinds of things. So I wanted to be part of the crowd. I'll probably upload it on YouTube.
You wanted to be part of the crowd.
Well, I wanted to be part of the hipster crowd.
Okay.
Okay.
But certainly not a part of the crowd that's not
I needed to
hipster.
call you out for that because you've said
Yeah, that
you've
was-
said specifically you don't want to be one of the crowd, just a person in the crowd.
The only reason I put it on Vimeo is because I heard that it like preserves quality more or something like that, but I have no idea if that's true at all. I think uploading it to anything will probably kill most quality, but I'll probably put it on YouTube too for accessibility. But anyway, if you want to watch some interesting videos that I stitched together, just hit it up at Dane LaPointe on YouTube or Lane LaPointe on Vimeo and Instagram.
Let's go.
That's all I got.
All right.
That's about it.
I think that's going to
For
do it,
anything.
then.
With
Okay.
your when you were slurring your speech, I didn't hear if you said all the plugs for the not so subtle pages.
Sure. Most of them, yeah. We in my pre-plug plug. It's not so subtle at gmail.com. It's not so subtle on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, and Instagram.
YouTube.
And YouTube,
Not
of
so
course.
subtle.
Yep. And then, of course, on iTunes, you can rate, comment, and subscribe.
You said that without thinking.
Rape, comment, and subscribe.
Well, this is the time to end the show, boys.
Well, okay, that's an inside joke from Kasim G, guys. All right, rate, comment, and subscribe to our iTunes podcast.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, it's not on iTunes at the moment. We're working through some bugs, and some decisions are being made.
Right.
Who knows if you'll be able to... Well, you can access all of our previous episodes on iTunes,
Right.
I believe,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
the moment.
Yeah. No, those are still up for sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just waiting on a particular member to
Sure.
shuttle us through this thing we call iTunes. If anyone watched this on iTunes, we'd love to hear from you on our email at itsnotsosubtle.
Okay, I'll send you an email directly after this.
Besides Jordan, and that'll make the member that's holding out for sure reconsider.
Absolutely.
Hopefully. So yeah,
All right.
we just want to know you exist, guys. Let us know you exist. God damn.
That's right. And we have some interesting things coming up in the pipeline, whatever those may be.
I don't like how you said coming up on the pipeline.
What do you mean?
That just sounds like you're throwing up or vomiting or like something gross is happening.
We have some interesting things coming up through my esophagus, guys.
Oh, there we go. That's much better.
All right. Well, this has been another great time with you guys. Look, whether we're at Olive Garden, here recording at Colter's abode, or out on the streets of Seattle, we'll always be family.
Nice. Hamburger Lord signing out.
Hamburger Lord XD.